Have you ever considered how certain belongings in your house simply occupy space, yet you find it difficult to part with them? As the years roll on, it's common for clutter to accumulate. Antiquated furniture, stacks of documents, cherished mementos tucked away. But here's the reality. Before reaching your 70s, there are specific household items you should eliminate. This isn't merely about creating more room. It's about cultivating a living space that feels more airy, manageable, and aligned with the lifestyle you aspire to. In this presentation, we'll explore 6 particular items that may be burdening you more than you recognize. Whether they're things you've held on to out of habit, outdated possessions that no longer benefit you, or objects that insidiously introduce stress into your daily routine, you'll discover why letting them go can provide unexpected relief. Above all, you'll understand that decluttering isn't about loss, but rather about gaining freedom. Now let's begin. First, time-worn and superfluous furniture. One of the primary contributors to household clutter is aging, dilapidated furniture that's past its prime. Over the years, it's easy to amass extra chairs, tables, and storage units, pieces that may have once been practical, but now sit idle, consuming valuable real estate. The truth is, clinging to furniture that's no longer functional or appealing isn't just a physical imposition. It can also generate needless stress. Reflect on that cumbersome recliner in the corner that's never occupied, the grandiose dining table that hasn't hosted a family feast in ages, or the dresser with stubborn drawers that irritate you each time you attempt to open them. These items aren't enhancing your life. They're simply taking up residence. As you advance in years, an excess of furniture can complicate navigating your home, raising the risk of accidental bumps, trips, or a general sense of being overwhelmed by surplus possessions. Consider Frank, for instance. At 74, he's resided in the same home for decades. He's amassed quite a collection of furniture, some inherited, some purchased, some gifted by friends. Initially, his home felt welcoming, but as time passed, he started to notice something. Moving around his residence became more challenging, cleaning consumed more time, and certain rooms felt more like storage than places of refuge. It wasn't until his daughter's visit, when she casually remarked on the 5 chairs in his living room, only 2 of which were ever used, that he realized it was time for a change. So he took decisive action. Beginning with one room, he opted to discard items that no longer served a legitimate purpose. The dilapidated chair with the unsteady leg, the colossal coffee table that obstructed movement. As he removed each item, he felt an unexpected wave of relief. His home felt more spacious, more welcoming, and most importantly, more livable. That's the thing about furniture. When it's useful, it elevates your life, but when it becomes dead weight, it silently depletes your energy and clutters your space. You don't need a home brimming with furniture to make it feel like a haven. In fact, the less you have, the more you can appreciate what remains. If you're clinging to furniture that no longer serves you, ask yourself, when was the last time I actually used this? If you have to pause and think, it's likely time to part with it. A home that's easy to traverse, clean, and genuinely enjoy is far more valuable than any unused chair or table occupying precious space. Second, clothing you neglect to wear. Almost all of us possess clothing items we no longer wear. Perhaps it's a suit that hasn't fit in years, a dress you purchased for a special occasion long ago, or a stack of antiquated shirts collecting dust in your drawers. Regardless, before reaching 70, it's time to honestly assess your wardrobe and ask, do I truly require all of this? The reality is, a closet teeming with unworn clothes isn't just consuming space. it's contributing unnecessary clutter to your life. Clothing often carries memories. The jacket you sported at a significant event, the jeans you once adored but haven't worn in ages, even those old shoes relegated to the back of your closet. You may not think of them often, but they're present, silently occupying space. For many, discarding old clothes feels like letting go of the past. But here's an idea. Your closet should mirror who you are today, not who you were. Consider Linda, for example. At 72, her closet was overflowing, yet she consistently wore only a select few items. She had dresses from the 80s, jackets untouched for decades, and shoes that were visually appealing but caused discomfort. Each morning, she faced her closet, frustrated by the sheer volume of choices, many of which were no longer practical. One day, she resolved to make a change. She emptied her closet and created 3 piles, one for clothes she loved and wore frequently, one for clothes that no longer fit or felt comfortable, and one for items she was keeping just in case. The last pile proved most challenging. However, as she began releasing items she hadn't worn in years, she realized she wasn't losing anything. She was gaining space, clarity, and a wardrobe that simplified her life. That's the essence. When you declutter your clothes, you're not merely getting rid of fabric. You're simplifying your daily routine. It becomes easier to dress in the morning, to discover what you genuinely enjoy wearing, and to navigate life without unnecessary baggage. The best part, someone else could benefit from those clothes. Instead of letting them languish in your closet, consider donating them to someone in need. So, if your closet is bursting with unworn clothes, ask, do I really need this? If it doesn't fit, if it's uncomfortable, or if you haven't worn it in years, it's time to let it go. At this stage in life, you deserve a wardrobe that serves you, not one that weighs you down. If you're finding value in these insights, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Now let's move forward. Third, outdated medications and toiletries. An often overlooked form of household clutter is something likely residing in your bathroom cabinet. Outdated medications and old toiletries. These items tend to accumulate without our awareness. Perhaps it's a bottle of pain relievers from years ago, partially used prescription medications, or skincare products you acquired but never favored. Before you know it, your drawers and cabinets are replete with items you no longer use, and more alarmingly, some could be unsafe. Medications expire for a reason. Their effectiveness wanes over time, and in certain instances, they can even become harmful. Holding on to old prescriptions, just in case, may seem harmless, but in reality, should you need that medication again, you should consult your doctor for a fresh, updated prescription appropriate for your current health needs. Despite this, many of us retain bottles of expired pills, unaware that they serve no purpose other than consuming space and introducing risk. Toiletries are no different. That old bottle of lotion unused for years, sunscreen of indeterminate age, perfume you abandoned a decade ago, these items don't last indefinitely. Many are unaware that skincare products and cosmetics also have expiration dates, and using them beyond this point can cause skin irritation or infections. Yet, we keep them, envisioning future use. But honestly, if you haven't used it in months or years, you likely won't. Consider Robert, for instance. At 75, he takes pride in maintaining an organized home, but while searching for a bandage, he opened his medicine cabinet and discovered it was filled with bottles and boxes, untouched for years. expired painkillers, half-used tubes of antibiotic cream, a prescription no longer needed. It was all merely occupying space. Upon taking the time to review everything, he was astonished by how much he had retained, just in case. As he cleared it out, he felt a sense of relief, knowing that the cabinet now contained only safe and useful items. Decluttering medications and toiletries isn't just about tidying up. It's about safety, having what you truly require, and eliminating the unnecessary. Removing expired medications creates space for those you rely on. Discarding old toiletries simplifies your routine and ensures the freshness and effectiveness of everything you use. If you haven't inspected your medicine cabinet or bathroom drawers recently, now is the time. Examine your medications. If expired, dispose of them safely. If it's a prescription no longer needed, dispose of it responsibly, instead of letting it sit. As for toiletries, be honest with yourself. If unused for over a year, you probably won't use it. Release it and enjoy the simplicity of possessing only what you truly need. Fourth, outdated papers, documents, and mail. A common yet easily overlooked form of clutter is paper. Over the years, it accumulates in piles on tables, in drawers, within old folders, and even in boxes stored away, just in case. From outdated bills and expired warranties to instruction manuals for appliances you no longer own, the volume of unnecessary paperwork in most homes is staggering. Before reaching 70, it's time to gain control. Paper clutter consumes space and causes stress. Consider the frustration of searching for an important document, only to sift through stacks of papers that should have been discarded years ago, or the overwhelming feeling of unopened mail accumulating, creating the impression of constant lateness. Most papers we retain are unnecessary, and discarding them can provide unexpected relief. Take Barbara, for example. At 73, she had a filing cabinet filled with documents dating back decades, old utility bills, forgotten receipts, even tax returns from the 1980s, papers that had been sitting there for years for no real reason. Struggling to find an important insurance document, she realized how much of her paperwork was outdated and irrelevant. She decided to review everything, keeping only essential documents. She reduced her paperwork by more than half, and for the first time in years, she knew exactly where to find what she needed. Decluttering your papers doesn't just make space in your home. It makes space in your mind. You're freeing yourself from the mental clutter of seeing piles of mail, outdated documents, and folders filled with things you'll never need. With today's technology, most important records can be accessed digitally, meaning you don't need physical copies of everything. So how do you start? Sort through your paperwork critically. If it's something you haven't looked at in years, you probably don't need it. Shred old bank statements and expired contracts. Recycle manuals for appliances you no longer own. Keep only essential legal, financial, and medical documents, and organize them for easy access when needed. Stop letting mail accumulate. Discard junk mail immediately. Pay bills and file only what's necessary. Cancel subscriptions to unread newsletters or magazines. The goal is simple. Keep only the papers that truly serve a purpose and discard the rest. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Fifth, unused kitchen items. The kitchen is one of the most cluttered areas in any home, and over time, it's easy to accumulate items that serve no real purpose. Cabinets filled with mismatched containers, drawers stuffed with unused utensils, old pots and pans gathering dust. Before you turn 70, it's time to clear out the kitchen clutter that's making your space more chaotic than it needs to be. Many people hold on to kitchen items out of habit. Maybe it's a set of fancy dishes you've been saving for a special occasion that never comes, or small appliances you bought years ago but haven't touched since. You might even have 3 or 4 versions of the same tool, a collection of spatulas, multiple coffee mugs, or an overflowing drawer of plastic lids with no matching containers. But here's the truth. A kitchen filled with unused or unnecessary items doesn't make life easier. It makes it harder. Take George, for example. He's 76 and has lived in the same house for decades. Over the years, his kitchen filled up with gadgets and cookware he rarely used. There were blenders, food processors, and toasters that sat untouched, plates and glasses stacked high in cabinets, and drawers crammed with tools he didn't even remember buying. Every time he needed something, he had to dig through clutter just to find it. One day, after knocking over a pile of unused baking sheets while searching for a pan, he realized enough was enough. So he made a decision. He went through his kitchen one section at a time, asking himself a simple question. Do I actually use this? If the answer was no, he set it aside. Duplicates gone, expired spices and pantry items tossed, that bread maker he bought years ago and used once donated. By the time he was finished, his kitchen felt like a completely different space. More functional, more organized, and most importantly, easier to use. And that's the key. When you let go of kitchen items you never use, you create a space that works for you, not against you. Cooking becomes simpler, cleaning takes less time, and you no longer feel overwhelmed by cluttered countertops or stuffed cabinets. You don't need an overflowing kitchen to prepare good meals. You just need the essentials. So, take a look around your kitchen, open your cabinets, check your drawers, and ask yourself, when was the last time I used this? If it's been years, if it's just collecting dust, if it's something you're only keeping just in case, then it's time to let it go. Because a kitchen filled with only what you actually use isn't just easier to manage. It makes daily life smoother and more enjoyable. 6th, sentimental items that no longer serve you. One of the hardest things to declutter is sentimental items, old letters, gifts from loved ones, souvenirs from past vacations, or boxes filled with memories from decades ago. These things carry emotional weight, and that's why so many people struggle to let them go. But here's something to consider. Before you turn 70, it's important to ask yourself whether these sentimental objects are bringing you joy or simply taking up space. Many people hold on to sentimental items because they feel guilty about letting them go. A gift from a relative who has passed away, a stack of greeting cards from birthdays long ago, childhood keepsakes from your kids or grandkids. These things remind us of important moments, but they can also become overwhelming when they start piling up. The truth is, memories don't live in objects. They live in you, and keeping an excessive amount of sentimental clutter doesn't honor the past. It just makes your present more difficult to manage. Take Helen, for example. She's 78 and had been holding on to boxes and boxes of old letters, souvenirs and keepsakes from different stages of her life. When she moved into a smaller home, she realized she had an entire storage unit filled with things she hadn't looked at in years. At first, the idea of getting rid of anything felt impossible. What if she forgot the memories attached to those items? What if letting go felt like erasing a part of her life? But then she made a shift. Instead of holding on to everything, she started being selective. She kept a few truly meaningful things: her wedding album, a handful of letters from loved ones, a small collection of souvenirs that made her smile. The rest she let go. She donated items that could still be useful to others. She took photos of things she wanted to remember, but didn't need to keep physically. And as she did, she felt something unexpected: relief. That's what many people don't realize. Decluttering sentimental items doesn't mean forgetting the past. It means making space to fully enjoy the present. It means keeping the best and letting go of the rest. And it means choosing to surround yourself with things that bring you happiness rather than objects that weigh you down. So if you've been holding on to sentimental items that are more of a burden than a blessing, take a moment to reflect. Do you need to keep every letter, every souvenir, every keepsake to remember the people and experiences that shaped you? Or can you hold on to the memories in your heart while freeing up space in your home? Because at this stage in life, the most valuable things aren't the ones collecting dust. They're the ones that bring you peace and joy every single day. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Final thoughts. As we conclude, let's briefly review the 6 items discussed. Decluttering before you turn 70 isn't merely about creating space. It's about building a living space that feels more serene, manageable, and reflects the life you wish to live. Each item discarded isn't a loss. It's a step towards simplicity, clarity, and peace of mind. Which point resonated most with you? Which of these items do you recognize in your own home? Perhaps you've already begun discarding furniture that no longer serves. Perhaps you've realized how much easier life would be without the weight of old papers, unused kitchen implements, or sentimental items. Perhaps this video offered a fresh perspective on decluttering. It isn't simply about possessions, it's about freedom. We're eager to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment sharing what you've learned today and how you intend to apply it. Your feedback is important. Don't hesitate to share. Reading your comments motivates and encourages us. If you enjoyed this video and found it beneficial, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.